The Cadillac Escalade, a symbol of American celebrity and power, but not the brand's best-selling vehicle. That title in 2023 went to the CT5. Long live sedans, but the Escalade is still Cadillac's standard bearer, and to use Cadillac's own marketing speak, an icon. But it's 2024 and the world is an ever-changing place with increasing competition in the full-size luxury SUV market. So how does this Escalade stack up against the modern competition? There is one thing over all else that the Escalade has in spades, and that is presence. This car dominates the road unlike any other vehicle in the class. The Range Rover falls short. Even a Bentley doesn't have nearly as much road presence as the Escalade. I would say only Rolls-Royces can rival this vehicle's presence. Sitting behind the wheel of the Escalade, you feel powerful. This vehicle is so large. You are cocooned in leather and screens. You just feel untouchable. And while the VIPs typically sit in the back of the Escalade, these are not the nicest seats in the car. While they are heated, they are also manually adjusting, just forward and backwards and recline. And they don't offer features like ventilation or massage, which some competitors do, as do the front seats. But they do offer a lot of space, and this is the short wheelbase Escalade. The ESV would have even more room. And here in the third row, we find a feature that the Escalade has that almost no other car on the market has, which is me at 6'2", sitting behind myself. I have plenty of knee room and headroom here in the third row of the Escalade. There are two engine options for the Escalade, a 3-liter turbo diesel making 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, and returning up to 27 mpg on the highway, which is very impressive. Or, more likely, this 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8 making 420 horsepower and again 460 pound-feet of torque, and only averaging a not at all Greta Thunberg approved 16 miles per gallon combined. Not very good. Driving the Cadillac Escalade, the first thing you notice is this vehicle size. This is the third time I've spent a week with the Cadillac Escalade, so I'm pretty familiar with this vehicle, but I am still shocked every time I get behind the wheel how big this car is. You really do have to pay attention when maneuvering around tight spaces. I live in a pretty dense urban area, so maneuvering around tight parking lots is definitely a chore. Another thing you're going to notice if you do live in an urban area is just how dismal the fuel economy is. Because this is such a large vehicle, there's a lot of energy required to accelerate this vehicle and move it from a standstill. I've been averaging 10.9 miles per gallon in predominantly city driving, which is obviously less efficient than highway driving. That's actually a little improved after I've taken a couple highway trips. I was in the 9 range for a while. But you also notice this vehicle size in not only the time it takes to accelerate and how much you have to steer this car when you are maneuvering around a parking lot, but in the time it takes to stop. You do need to budget a little bit more time when you are coming to a stop in the Cadillac Escalade, because this is just such a big vehicle, big and heavy, but its size is also an element and a benefit of this vehicle. You feel like you have a massive presence on the road. You feel like the king of the road. I'm currently sitting behind a BMW 4 Series, which is a low car, and a Tesla Model Y. I can clearly see over the top of the Tesla Model Y. You are just so high off the ground, very commanding, and you do feel very powerful sitting behind the wheel of this Cadillac Escalade. But with great power comes great responsibility. You do really need to be aware while you are driving the Escalade. You have a lot of vehicle that you are captaining down the road, and you need to be especially sure you're not hitting another car or a pedestrian. In a battle between an Escalade and a pedestrian, I think we all know who would win. The commanding nature of this car is complemented by an elegant interior. This is the most futuristic part of the Cadillac Escalade. It has the big body-on-frame design, very boxy, an old-school V8, but in here it does feel properly modern. I love these curved OLED displays. They really do help make this car feel like a luxury vehicle. Definitely a massive step up from the last generation. I will say Apple CarPlay is displayed in a pretty small manner because of the shape of the screen. I think the new Cadillac XT4, which has a single screen similar to how Cadillac Lyriq has a single screen, does display CarPlay a little better. You also get CarPlay in the instrument cluster on the XT4, which is awesome. You do not get that in the Escalade. There's probably going to be a facelift coming to the Escalade soon. We just saw the new Chevy Tahoe and Suburban last December, so a slight update to Escalade should be coming, and hopefully they'll make CarPlay better, although GM is also ditching CarPlay for their new EVs. like the Cadillac Escalade IQ, which comes out later this year, won't have CarPlay at all, which I do think is a mistake. CarPlay is one of my favorite features on the car. You still do get it in the regular Escalade. So the screens are very nice in this Cadillac Escalade, as too are the seats. I am a big fan of them. Not only are they very comfortable, but they are also heated and ventilated. And an interesting feature on this Escalade that I haven't seen on any other car is you can choose whether you just want the back of the seat heated or both the back and the base of the seat. That's pretty unique. Haven't seen that on another car. But these seats are also massaging. There are 5 different programs, each with 3 levels of intensity. I'm a big fan of them. It's a really good massage, actually. It massages both the seat and the back, and it does a really good job at doing a massage, and love that it has that feature. Another awesome feature that the Cadillac Escalade offers is Super Cruise. This is available on a lot of General Motors products, and it basically allows you to drive hands-free on registered highways by scanning your eyes. There's a little sensor just behind the steering wheel that scans your eyes, and as long as you're looking at the road and the proper conditions have been met, the car will drive hands-free. It's pretty awesome. Basically, there's this bar at the top of the steering wheel that will illuminate green if you have properly turned everything on. And as long as the top of the steering wheel is green, you're free to be hands-free. If the top of the steering wheel turns red, that means Super Cruise is disengaging, or it will turn blue if you are changing lanes. There is also an automatic lane change feature where when you put your turn signal on, the Escalade will automatically switch into the lane that you are signaling towards when it is safe to do so. It's a very handy feature, makes road tripping a breeze, and it's very nice, obviously, that it is in Cadillac's top-of-the-line vehicle. Giving the Escalade with the V8 some gas, there is a significant amount of thrust that this 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8 develops, and it is definitely an adequate amount of power. It's not fast by any means, but I think 0 to 60 happens in about 6 seconds, which again, for such a large vehicle, is pretty impressive. Now, if you do need a faster Escalade, there is one on sale. It is the Escalade V that uses a 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8 to develop about 682 horsepower, I believe. That one will do 0 to 60 in the 4-second range, which is just bonkers that a vehicle this large could accelerate that quickly, and that SUV is just one of the most insane vehicles I've ever driven. It is so loud, it is so fast, and you probably don't need that much horsepower. No one really does, but it's out there if you want one. And there's also the diesel Escalade, which will deliver about 27 mpg on the highway, which is really impressive, as well as 460 pound-feet of torque, which is equal to what you get in this gas Escalade. A little less horsepower though, just under 300, although the new Chevy Tahoe and Suburban's diesel powertrain is up to 310 horsepower, I believe, for the 2025 model year. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Escalade's diesel version also gets a similar horsepower bump, because these are all riding on the same platform. In terms of other driving dynamics, guys, this is a big box on wheels. It's not going to quarter like anything impressive. You do need to take your time when you are lumbering around the bends, but it is very comfortable in here. I don't think the suspension is quite as plush as the Lexus LX600 with the air suspension. That car really does isolate you from the road. I do think you get a little more bumps through into the cabin in this Escalade than that vehicle. This is a much larger vehicle than the LX600, so it does make sense, but it definitely does have a luxury feel to it. And any bumps that do come in aren't too jarring. They're pretty well controlled. Going back again to the size of this vehicle, it's crazy to me that this is the smallest Escalade you can get. The ESV is even larger with even more rear seat legroom and even more storage behind the third row. That vehicle is an absolute tank. This is more than enough car for what I need, but if you do have a family of more than 4, I do understand why the ESV would be attractive. You can fit everyone comfortably in the car along with all of their things. I think the long wheelbase, full-size General Motors vehicles are some of the only cars on the market that really can do something like that. And there's also a lot of other luxury features in this Cadillac Escalade. The center console can turn into a refrigerator. That's pretty cool. It is cooled. We have a digital rear view mirror, a suede headliner, a 36 speaker AKG audio system, which I can confirm sounds pretty good. We have a panoramic sunroof, which I can open the shade of. I won't actually open the sunroof because it is raining outside, but you can watch the drops fall on the glass, which is very nice. I do love the way these seats look. Not only are they comfortable, they look good. And it's just pretty nice in here. There are a few things that are feeling a little aged and a little General Motors. This gear selector feels like very 2010s, from kind of inspired by BMW. These window switches are kind of plasticky. There is some plastic lower down. There's a lot of soft touch surfaces actually, but you can find the cheaper plastic. The Cadillac Lyriq is the first Cadillac model to feature exclusive Cadillac controls, meaning no other General Motors brand, Buick, GMC, Chevrolet, uses any of the switchgear that is in the Cadillac Lyriq. That's not the case for this Cadillac Escalade. I think there are a few buttons that are probably shared with like Chevy Tahoe and Chevy Yukon. But I think Cadillac is moving in that direction, which I applaud them for. I think they really do need to stand out from their other General Motors peers. So that's the 2024 Cadillac Escalade. It continues to dominate in sheer domination, and it also has some genuinely impressive technology and luxury. But in 2024, there are a lot of competitors at the same price point that are a bit more exciting. This Escalade is starting to feel a bit old school. 2024 is also the year that the all-electric Cadillac Escalade will be hitting the road, so I'm super excited to see how that vehicle rivals its more traditional brother. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.